Hello, everyone. I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha, and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm really grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting, and all of the different questions and things that you're sending me. I'm really appreciating it. I'm actually surprised at the fact that there are still new people finding this channel and the videos. That's amazing. I'm glad for it. I just assumed that they wouldn't for some weird reason. So if there are new subscribers listening to this, I'm really, really grateful and welcome. In this one, I wanted to speak to you about a comment that I read recently. Well, not recently, a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even longer than that, a month ago. Someone commented saying that INFJs can be real jerks before they grow up and mature. And, when I read that, it was like a light bulb that went off in my head because it was so true for me. I don't know if every INFJ is like this. I think it might be a majority of us who are like this. Not because we want to be jerks, there are reasons for it, and I'll go into that. But we do tend to be, when we're younger, run more by our egos, or something causes this to happen. We end up coming across as jerk-like, or, mean, or, I used to be called a bitch all the time. I'm sure if you've been called many different names when you were younger, and I used to constantly conflict with people around me, constantly be in fights with people around me, and I hate confrontation, and I still ended up in fights. I'd obviously be fighting my parents all the time. I was a huge rebel, and I was always doing my own thing, and I was trying to figure myself out, and people didn't understand that, so I'd be conflicted on that thing. But that was fine, but I was constantly fighting with people that I didn't even know either, like friends or friends of friends, or I'd be sitting at a dinner table with a bunch of people that I just met, and for some reason I'd get into a confrontation or argument with someone. I tried very hard to be kind and to not let this happen, but for some reason it kept on happening over and over again. It doesn't happen as often anymore, I am much older now. I'm talking about when I was in my 20s, this is what happened. So 20 years ago. And I'm sure I've changed quite a bit, but what has changed the most is obviously the fact that I've matured, but also the fact that I don't take a lot of things personally anymore. And unfortunately, I think this is something that younger INFJs tend to do because we do not know any better. And I think in general people do this when they're young. We are a little bit more self-centered when we're younger. We do believe that we're the center of the universe. I think you run out of it, or you grow up out of it because you realize you're not, and that you're like a minuscule speck of dust in this humongous universe. But more than that, there is this kind of arrogance that INFJs have when they're younger. I know I did. Because I knew I was a little bit different, because I knew that I thought differently, I wanted to live differently, because I didn't know I was an INFJ, but I knew that I was a little bit different in some ways, and that caused me to feel like superior, like I was superior to others around me. And whenever I'd meet someone, I'd be like, oh yeah, I know I'm better than you because blah, 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 whatever the reason was. And a lot of times that superiority complex, which is grounded in nothing a lot of times, caused me to conflict with people because I would look down upon them, and people can tell when you do that, right? People can tell when you're being a jerk to them, even if it's like something you have like a smile on your face, but you're internally doing all this judgment. And so as I said, I'd constantly get into conflicts with this, but I noticed that as I get older, and definitely in my late 30s, I could see a huge transformation, that people, not only did I not have conflicts anymore, but people actually wanted to hang out with me. More than that, people actually wanted to be around me, my energy or whatever it was. They actually want to be with me, around me. They want to talk to me. Funnily enough, I don't want to anymore. In the past, I wanted to have friends. I wanted to be around people. Now I'm like, whatever. It's nice, but it's not like my cup of tea anymore. In the past, I'd be running after people. I'd be like, I wanted to be around people because I was lonely, and now not so much. I guess I can satisfy my own needs for company, but I do remember, as I said, lots of conflicts back then. Now, not so much. And in general, I notice, like, not that I'm a complete saint anymore. Oh, no. I do still have conflicts, obviously, and I still have arguments and all this stuff, but not as often as I did in the past. And I do notice that as soon as I do have a confrontation, I have the ability now to go back to the person and say, hey, I'm sorry, that was my fault. Or if I can't go back to the person, if it was with a random stranger, then I do, make sure that I learn from what I did wrong. Like, what did I do? Why did this happen? Why did I end up in this conflict? And most of the time, and this is one of the reasons I think that as we mature, we're not as jerky as mean, or we don't have as many conflicts, is because we know ourselves better. And when we know ourselves better, we're able to feed ourselves well, we're able to sleep well, we're able to gauge our social meter and run away before we go crazy. In general, we're able to take care of ourselves much better. Now I know where my social meter is at all times. I know exactly when it's going to go to 10%. And I know when I need to get out of a social situation so that I don't do anything stupid. I know exactly when that moment is. And I do it. I just don't think about it. I just leave. I'm like, that's it. This is done. I'm done with this. I'm going to go. The same thing with like being able to know like how much food I need during the day. Like in the past, I remember when I was younger, in my 20s, I used to skip meals all the time. Or I just didn't understand how to feed myself so that my energy levels would stay steady. I did not know that. And I know it's a very simple thing, but we do not know as INFJs how to do that until we get older and more mature and wiser. And so as a younger INFJs, I would always be crashing. Like I'd be crashing in terms of hunger. I'd be crashing in terms of tiredness. I wouldn't be able to gauge how tired I was, and I'd keep on pushing myself. I wouldn't be able to sleep properly through the night, or I wouldn't know how much to sleep, and so I'd constantly be tired, and that caused me to be a mean person. Because as soon as you get hungry, tired, sleepy, all of those things are going to affect your personality, and they're going to affect your character. Like, unfortunately, character, like, or your the way you behave with other people is not steady. If you're in a good mood and you're taking care of yourself properly and everything's fine, then you're going to be kind. It's just the way it is. But if you're hangry, or you haven't slept well, or your social meter is 0, then you're going to say something stupid, and it's gonna happen. It's just the way it is. And so I really feel like that's one of the main reasons why I know now how to control myself. I know myself. I know how to control my tongue, of course. I know how to stop myself from saying stupid things. Not that I don't all the time. I do, but not as often as before. But I do notice a lot of it has to do with the fact that, I ate 3 times today. I had my meals. I took care of myself. I've been drinking water. I have my bottle of water here, and I'm drinking it consistently. I'm not dehydrated. I slept at night. Even if I woke up in the middle of the night to pee, I went back to sleep, and I slept through the night, and I woke up at 6. So very basic stuff. Like I went to the gym today. I actually went and worked out and got rid of all that restless energy so that I'm not spewing it on some random poor human being that passes me by chance, right? I did my work. I didn't procrastinate, so I made sure that I'm not, I'm getting my stuff done, and that makes sure that I'm not, worried about it all the time, stressed about it, or thinking about it, and that causes me to be drained, mentally and physically exhausted, and then I end up doing something stupid, right? So it's just like as you get older, as an INFJ, when you get older, you know how to do all of these things. Like you're kind of taking care of all the different buckets. You're taking care of your finances properly just because you understand how to do it now. It took me 20 years to learn. 20 years, like after my 20s, I mean. So like it took me 40 years to learn, but 35, I would say. 35 years to learn how to freaking take care of my finances so that they're not all over the place. It took me 35 years to understand how my body works, and so how to make sure that I can take care of it so I don't do stupid things in public. And it took me 35 years to figure out my social meter and like what is my social structure like, how much socialization can I get done before I have to leave. I was at an event last Sunday, and it was a lunch thing, and I was there for an hour and 20 minutes, and the event was supposed to be for 3 or 4 hours. As soon as the hour and 20 minute hit, instantaneously I knew I had to leave, because I was done. I was done with the people, I was done with the event, I was done with my social meter. It was like, I was like, I'm at the edge. If I don't leave right now, it's gonna be a big issue. So I was like, instantaneously, as soon as I knew, I left. I got up, I said goodbye, and I left, right? There's no like, oh my god, but should I? It's gonna go on. No, man. There's no need to argue about it. You need to go right now. You go. That's it. And so then I didn't end up saying something stupid. I didn't end up like getting into a freaking confrontation or an argument with someone because I was tired and I couldn't control my tongue. I was in the airport a month ago when I was traveling from Canada to Bali, and that flight is long. It's a long 2 days of travel. It's just exhausting. I was tired, and no matter what I did at that point, it was very hard because I couldn't get enough sleep. I slept here or there and everywhere, but there's a lot going on, so it was tiring. And so what happened was that I got into confrontation, but that was because I knew that circumstance wasn't right. There's no way to control it. And so if I was in the right space of mind with like good sleep, good nutrition, good everything, then I was able to control myself. I'm not saying that we're like automatons and we can't control ourselves if we don't take care of ourselves. Yes, I could have controlled my tongue then, and I did. I would have said a lot more if I didn't, right? But what happens is that you have to make sure that the basics are taken care of. And so, as I said, as you get older, you'll figure these things out. It takes a little bit of time, unfortunately. It's not something that we can just learn out of the womb, or even like in our 20s. For me, it took me forever. Maybe it'll be faster for you. Hopefully it is. But just to realize this fact that if you are noticing that you are, getting into a lot of conflicts and confrontations in your 20s or in your teens as an INFJ, it's normal, because this is the time where you're learning about yourself. And when you're learning about yourself, this is what happens. It just results in this kind of stuff. So hopefully this helps you. Just realize that if you take care of the basics and then you do all these things, and bit by bit you get better at it, you will get better at it, I promise you. You will get to a point where you'll get into less confrontations, less conflicts, because it just won't be an issue anymore. You're like, I'm taking care of myself. I don't have time or energy to get into conflicts with people. It's not in my purview. It's not in the agenda. I have other things to do in my life. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say on this subject. If you have any questions about this, obviously let me know. And if you didn't like the video or liked it or whatever it was, let me know in the comments below as well. Again, thank you so much. I know I'm being very intermittent in my posting of videos, but I've just been very busy. I've been doing random things in my life, and traveling a lot and doing this and that. So, but I still want to post as often as I can, even if it's every 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So hopefully everything is okay and well and fine and good with all of you, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye.